Crowhill here. Today we review a pale ale and discuss an English novel set in Mexico.
Okay.
Hey, good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Pigweed and Longinus.
Longinus
Fantastic.
is
So,
here.
what's on your mind?
Well, Mr. Tench,
Yeah.
the lieutenant,
Okay.
Padre Jose,
Yeah.
Captain Fellows,
Yeah.
the mestizo, and a whiskey priest.
I see. It must be time for PNC's Shortcut to the Classics.
Yes, where we read great books by the world's great authors, provided they aren't too long.
Normally.
Right.
Yes, but this is a little longer, and
Yeah.
for reasons that we'll find out soon, Pigweed has chosen The Power and the Glory by Greene.
Yes, we have. Now, let's have a beer.
Okay, fantastic. And why aren't we drinking a Mexican beer?
Well, because we have an English novelist.
An English novelist.
And
He just happened to be in Mexico.
Yes.
Okay, very good.
And so this is just called British Pale Ale by
local.
Guildford. And so before I get in here, how will I know this is not an American Pale Ale?
So-
What indication would there might be?
So generally speaking, somebody in the less developed parts of the world develops something,
Right.
and we make it better. You know?
As we do.
We do. So when you get something like a British Pale Ale, it's going to basically be an American Pale Ale, just not as much so. There's not going to be as much hops. It's not.
Yes.
It's just going to be less so.
And the hops that they will have will not be. We have reconstructed the hop
Yes.
into citrusy
Yes.
and tropical
Yes.
and piney.
Yeah. Oily, everything else.
English hops are
English
not.
hops are not. And actually, English hops tend to have a little bit of a funky flavor to them. Yeah.
Sometimes they say earthy or
Yeah.
grassy
Right.
or something
So-
like
Right.
that.
That's
so-
kind of my expectation. So
All right.
let's
so
see what we're getting here.
Let me know
All right.
what you think about that. It's got lovely color, very clear.
Yeah. It's not nearly like if you were to get a Dale's Pale Ale, you'd get a much more hop-forward beer than this.
Yeah.
This is very nice.
Yes,
Yeah,
but
I like
it's classic British. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
very nice.
It's a British pale ale, but it's made by
All right.
In Baltimore, right here in Baltimore.
Guildford Hall Brewery.
Yeah.
Right here in
Fantastic.
Baltimore.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're gonna get like a British porter, it's just not gonna be as ramped up as an American.
Because
porter.
that's just what we do.
Because we do. That's right. Italians say pizza is just. We say no. Come on, you can put anything you want on
Yes.
there. Yeah.
Oh, except pineapples. All right, please.
Come on.
All right.
Okay, so Greene.
Grand Greene, yes. The Power and the Glory.
Yeah.
And so,
With this scary dude on the cover.
the three of us just got back from Mexico.
We
And
did,
so I
yes.
was thinking, as I'm planning, we are planning books to read ahead.
Yeah.
In the spring, I was like, I want to be reading something about Mexico.
In Mexico.
While, on the plane
Yes.
and that kind of thing. And so
Yeah.
we have this Grand Greene novel set in Mexico.
Yeah.
And so the setting is after the Revolution.
Yeah.
Uh,
Which, by the way, we need to make a call out to our previous show on revolutions, and how the American Revolution is better than everybody's revolution.
Yes,
and this is a case in point.
And this is a case in point.
Yes,
This
yeah.
is where everybody's revolution just goes too far.
Everybody's revolution sucks except ours.
Yes.
Yes.
You call out to ourselves.
Yes.
So that was okay. Very good. Very good. So part of this revolution, so this is roughly 1910 to 1920, but within that period you had the 1917 Constitution, which banned religious orders, restricted priests' civil rights, forbade public religious education, limited public worship, and then, some people pushed back.
Yeah.
And you had the Cristero War.
Yes.
So during that time, a violent uprising by Catholic rebels against the federal government.
Yes.
Now, this formally ended in the 1920s, and in 1920, but some regions, particularly Tabasco, had a radical governor, Tomas Garrido Canabal, who continued harsh and anti-religious campaigns into the 30s. And so priests were executed or imprisoned, forced to marry, driven into hiding, limited by law to extremely small numbers.
Yeah.
So that's
the
the setting
right.
of this. Now, the fact that none of this is actually revealed in the novel.
No.
At the end, we'll talk about why would Greene choose to not start with some sort of prologue to set you up, etc. But let's address that at the end.
Okay. All right.
So, let's go chapter. Let's just go chapter by chapter here. So it opens up
Some dentist thing.
with a dentist.
Mr. Tench, right?
Mr. Tench
Yeah.
he's waiting for a boat to come in.
Right.
It's super hot. Just everybody's sweaty and miserable.
Yeah.
He's waiting for some ether, right? Something for his work. And then there's a dude called the Stranger who's also waiting for the boat. They're chit-chatting, of course, on Mexican time in the 1930s. Who knows when this boat's going to show up?
Right, yeah.
So they chit-chat a little bit, and the Stranger speaks English, and Mr. Tench is British.
Yeah.
And he's kind of glad to have somebody to speak English to, and he mentions that he's got a little
tipple.
a little hooch.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so as it develops, you realize that they have to sneak off to Mr. Tench's place to drink
It's like liquor is against the law or something.
That's right.
Yes, so there's
It's like prohibition.
Yeah.
Right, and then the Stranger mentions he was there to see somebody, and Mr. Tench just sort of off the hand goes, "Oh, they shot him last week." So like you're going, all right, so this is the setting here.
Yeah.
It's hot and sweaty.
Yeah.
The government's
they're not letting you drink, and they just like shoot people from time to time.
Yes, so
Right.
there's this repressive environment going
Yes.
on, but you don't really know what's going on. All right,
And
so
everybody's poor, and like even at its best, a dentist's office down there is going to be like scary.
yeah, he's just hoping to get some ether to help
Right.
a guy out when he
Right, and he
yanks.
runs into the guy, and the guy's like, "Hey, where's my teeth?" You know, I'm working on them.
yeah.
You know,
He's making a set for him, but I don't know. He's like, he probably won't show up anyway. So chapter 2, we meet the lieutenant, right? And he lets you know. Did he have some bad experiences? Is that why he hates the church so much, or is it just part of his job?
Well, I
Let me
have some quotes we can pull out.
Yeah.
This is later in the book, but he says, "You're fools if you still believe what the priests tell you. All they want is your money. What has God ever done for you? Have you got enough to eat? Have your children got enough to eat? Instead of food, they talk to you about heaven. Oh, everything will be fine after you're dead, they say. I tell you, everything will be fine when they are dead, and you must help."
Right.
So that's his attitude.
Yeah, that's his attitude.
yeah. So I think it's a little bit of both, right? He had bad experiences as a kid,
He had a
and-
specific bad experience.
but
I
he's
don't-
in love with this secular
he thinks
social
that,
ideal.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, the church just wastes money on lavish things, and people are hungry. And this new socialist paradise is, going to feed everybody, but we have to get some people out of the way. So he's hunting for a rebel priest and for an American bank robber.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So he's just got his little gang of soldiers, and so now you're getting I see you're not allowed to you're not allowed to preach. So then you find out that original Stranger is actually a priest.
Is actually the priest, yeah. And what I found interesting about this was how limited the role of the police was. Like, it's hard for me to imagine the police in any serious city only having 2 people that they're interested in catching.
yeah, right.
You know? I mean,
Well-
don't they have more to do? I mean, you get the impression that these are like the only 2 people that they need to...
Right, but I think what I get is the lieutenant is the army.
Yeah.
And that's his task is to deal with this darn priest and this guy. But there's also the mention of the police chief who's got a serious toothache.
Yeah.
And as far as Graham Greene's mechanical writing style, everybody you meet early will come back around in some significant way.
Right,
So
yeah.
first off, it just seems like, all right, so the guy's got a toothache.
Yeah.
And,
And he's also not anywhere near as interested in this persecuting the priests stuff. The captain. He's a little more...
He's in the pool hall a lot.
Yeah, exactly. He really doesn't care all that much. And it's the lieutenant who's the zealot. He's
Right.
going out there getting people. Yeah.
So we learn about the priest. So they say they don't know what he looks like.
Yeah.
But they say he can pass for a gringo, I guess because he can speak English.
Yeah.
So.
Didn't he go to school in England or something?
Well,
America.
I think yeah.
Okay,
You're
yeah.
right, in the States. So that came up in their little conversation.
Yeah.
Then it cuts to this little bit about a mother reading religious stories to her kids, and the kids don't quite get what's going on because at this point in their lives, it's been 8 years, they have never experienced church life.
Right.
And so she's trying to instill in them something, And the oldest boy just thinks the whole story's kind of lame.
Mm-hmm.
But, Mom's at least reading us a story, so, that they've heard before. And she's doing her best to instill some idea of religiosity concerning a martyr guy named Juan.
Yeah.
And and then now we meet Padre Jose. Tell me about Padre Jose.
So he's the one who gave in and got married.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, he's heavyset.
Yeah.
And he feels terrible about it.
Yeah.
I mean, he feels like a coward
Because he was. Because he gave in. He gave in to the persecution. It's interesting that the way they tried to, unpriest a priest was to get them married.
Mm-hmm.
But, technically that doesn't make him not a priest anymore.
Okay.
It just makes him, he's in sin.
Right.
But he's not a priest.
Yeah. Right. I think he he uses that as his excuse to not piss off the authorities any further.
Yes.
So when people say, but Father, can you forgive me or whatever, he's like, oh, yeah, sorry, I got married, so I can't do any of that.
And apparently he's married to a really large woman.
Yes.
And there was that scene in the cemetery where the child is being buried, and he is asked to say a prayer, and he's like, I'm not going to do it.
Well,
Yeah.
Not my job.
Yeah.
Not my job.
Yep.
Right.
So chapter 3 is Captain Fellows. So we meet Captain Fellows. Is American or they're Brits, right?
I think the Brits.
Yeah, they're Brits. So the Fellows family has a banana farm or something.
Yep.
There's a lot of bananas.
A
going
banana
on in this.
plantation.
Banana plantation, and
Bananas
they're on
come
the
up
water.
a lot in this story.
Right. So they're like, that's where bananas get unloaded onto ships or something, and they have a daughter, right, named Coral, and
She wants to protect the priest.
they find out that the priest was there last night.
Right.
So,
yeah.
so the lieutenant shows up, says, "Have you seen any priests around?" And actually, the Mr. and Mrs. were like, "No." Honestly, they didn't.
Yeah.
Only to find out,
Yeah. He was there, and the daughter was trying to protect him.
and daughter protected him.
Yeah.
Even though she admits she lost her faith when she was 10.
Yeah.
So you'll find throughout, even people who don't like the church, don't like the priesthood, have something to gain, still don't rat him out.
Yeah. There is sort of an underlying this isn't right, you shouldn't be bothering people like this kind of an attitude.
Yes.
Which,
Nobody trusts the authorities.
Right.
Let me see. So Mr. Tench, it cuts back to Mr. Tench. He writes a letter to his wife that he hasn't seen in 10 years, and he's like, I don't know, what's the point?
Yeah. Right. There's a lot of underlying suffering in the entire novel. There's poverty. There's incredible poverty.
Right.
There's bad relationships between husbands and wives. There's bad family relationships. It's just like everything is very oppressive
Yeah.
and bad. You feel bad for the people in this book.
Right. So then there's like 4 different unrelated scenes. You have Mr. Tench writes his wife, of the pious mother reading to her kids, Padre Jose afraid to say a prayer, like you said. Coral is getting a mail order education. But all these things come back around. Just hang on here, kids. And then the lieutenant shares his idea of taking hostages and shooting them.
Yes.
And
he feels totally justified to do that.
Yeah. Well, he's a zealot. He's a true believer.
Yeah.
He's the guy who actually believes in this anti-clerical.
And it's, if we got to break a few
It's not my
eggs,
fault
you know
the
what I mean?
hostage is dead. The guy should have come forward.
Yeah, hostages. Yeah, are we there yet?
Yeah.
So
He says
one of the things he does is to try to get out the priests. He goes to a town and takes a hostage and says, if you guys don't tell me where the priest is, we're going to kill the hostage. And he goes around killing these hostages to try to find the priest.
Yeah, I mean, in a cold-blooded way, not a bad strategy.
But a lot of the amazing thing is they didn't give him up.
They did.
A lot of them did not give up the priest.
But the one thing it did do afterwards, it ostracized the priest from every town that a hostage was murdered.
No,
the priest had to think, if I go into this town,
right,
then actually the reality was they're going to take a hostage whether he goes into the town or not. Right. But he feels as if he goes into the town, they're going to take a hostage, they're going to torture that hostage, to try to find information about me, which makes him say, I better not go into the town. Which
But
is
that's
very
his, but
effective.
that's his job.
Exactly. His job is to go and administer the sacraments in that town, and he can't do that because to do that would be exposing them to a danger. So it's an interesting kind of moral psychological dilemma going on for the priest.
Definitely. So
Yeah.
So now that now we're at part 2, chapter 1. So while evading the red shirts, drives him toward the place where he most wants to be, the home of his daughter.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is not the holiest priest in the world.
So
Yeah, he had a mess up.
Yeah, he messed up. Yeah.
so so Maria, the mother, he sees her there, but he gets there and he's like, all right, we're going to do this. I'm gonna have mass. People are super nervous.
Yes.
They're like, how about can we do it like at 4 a.m.?
Yeah.
Right,
They're trying to
like-
hide it as much as possible.
How long is this going to take?
Yeah, it's very interesting because on the one hand, they're very committed to having mass and having the sacraments.
Yes.
There's all these kids that haven't been baptized, all these kids that haven't been confirmed,
Right.
and they really want to do that. But at the same time, they have to realize they're exposing themselves to danger, so they have to do it secretly.
So they want to, and they don't want to, and he. So he says mass, and he. There's rumors of the police, and he could run, but instead he pretends to be Maria's husband.
Yes.
And no one blabs,
Right. Even the daughter.
even the daughter.
Even the
And so the
daughter,
daughter
right.
doesn't like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she kind of lies for him, right? Well, he
Yeah.
doesn't lie, where she thinks she's lying. I don't know which one, but he says, "Yeah, that's my dad."
Mm-hmm.
That's my
It's
dad.
That's why I don't know
True
his
enough. Yeah.
Just because I call
He's
him
dad.
It's Dad. I just call him Dad.
But no one blabs. Then they take Miguel,
Yeah.
the hostage,
Mhm.
and he leaves. So then now he leaves town for I don't know where for the next I think to go to the capital, and then comes in the mestizo.
He's on the run this entire time. The whole time
Yeah.
he's hiding.
Yes.
He knows they're after him. He's hiding, but at the same time he feels this obligation, despite the fact that he's. Let's talk about the whiskey priest.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is not a pious priest.
Right. He doesn't have a name.
Yeah. He is. He's the priest who drinks too much
And has a kid.
and has a kid and is like really not all that serious about his job, and he's more interested in fame and fortune and like becoming a big deal in a big cathedral in the city
Right.
than anything else. So he's not portrayed as a good priest in any way.
But
Well, he doesn't portray himself as a good priest.
Yes.
And,
no, he admits
He's
that he's a bad
that's
priest.
all.
But and he says, God, I just wish he would catch me.
Yeah.
So but why? So then why don't you just give yourself up?
Yeah.
Because he does recognize his duty.
Yes.
And his faith. I figured there'd be some crisis of faith.
Yeah.
But that's not the case either. He's a believer. He thinks he's a crappy priest, and he feels like his job is to avoid and to not get caught.
Yes.
But he's exhausted. We find out later in the book. It's been 8 years he's been living like this.
Yeah, it's very interesting because he's not a strong believer. He's not very pious, but he has this very strong sense of his duty and his obligation.
That's a great point.
And-
Yes, it's duty more than
Yes.
anything else.
Yeah.
and then he runs into what, mestizo?
So the old mestizo comes along, which just means he calls him half caste.
Yeah.
Half the time, just means half European, half Indian. And hey, buddy, where you going? I'll go along with you.
Yeah, I'll help you out.
And the priest suspects him
From the first minute.
from the first minute. He's
yeah.
like, this guy just wants to, because there's a bounty out for him.
Yeah.
And so they go along together.
Could you imagine that situation, traveling with somebody that the whole time you're thinking, this guy's a rat who's trying to
Yeah.
get me, he's trying to turn me in?
And he just wants to plow straight on through the capital.
Yeah.
He says, no. Let's stay here. This would be a great idea. Let's just stay here tonight. And then he gets up and the whiskey priest gets up in the morning. They go there and he says, why don't you? He lets him ride the donkey, right? He puts the mestizo on the donkey,
One of them gets sick.
and then
Yeah.
slaps the donkey on the ass and says,
See ya. Right.
"See ya." So
Yeah.
he ditches the mestizo.
Yeah.
Now he's back. Now he's at the town he was trying to get to, and he needs to buy some sacramental wine.
Right.
But, you gotta go. You gotta go through back channels.
And the problem is he's a horrible drunk. So
he likes
he's
drinking.
trying to get sacramental wine. He ends up getting like brandy and other.
Well,
kind
the
of
other
stuff.
guy keeps going, keep saying, "Hey, got some good whiskey for you. I
Right.
got some beer." He's like,
No,
"Well,
wine. I want wine.
I take it back to my dear mother. She
Yeah.
loves wine,
Yeah.
and so I really just need."
But then they end up just drinking it all. They
Right.
buy this. They buy a bunch of stuff, and they end up drinking it all, and he gets out with
So
nothing.
he gets brandy, he gets wine, and then they're like, "Hey, the what is it?
He's drinking with the captain too, right?
Right, it's like he's the governor's cousin. You
Yeah.
know, you want to schmooze with this guy here, so drink with him a little bit till they drink the whole thing."
So there's this strong contrast going on between his duty,
Yeah.
which is to get the sacramental wine so he can do mass, and his
love of drink.
love of drink. So
Right.
it's like those two things are in conflict, and the hedonistic side wins.
Yes, and
Yeah.
then so now he's got no wine, but he does have some brandy on him, and he runs into some red shirts.
And he gets arrested
Yes,
because he has the brandy.
right. So they're not arresting the whiskey priest; they're arresting the booze smuggler,
Right.
But he ends up in prison.
which is
With-
this is some kind of a
It's-
this is a good scene.
It is a good
Yeah,
scene
it was-
because
yeah,
it's
it was
really
the best.
horrible. It's like all these people are crowded into this little room.
It's gross.
You imagine
smelly.
this gross, smelly, dark room. A whole bunch of people crowded in there where there's hardly enough room to sit or lay down.
Yeah,
There's a couple of people fornicating in the corner
Yes.
in this whole thing.
Because she's trying to raise money to get out of there and get her sister out of there.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, you think these are the scum of the earth. These are these horrible.
Yeah.
They're prisoners. But none of them are going to give them up.
Right. Right. And,
Yes.
and he was like, all right, I guess this is it. I'll tell
Yeah.
folks that I'm a
And
priest.
he
And
confesses.
does, and
maybe he's
everybody
hoping,
kind of likes him
maybe,
for it.
maybe hoping that they'll turn him in.
Right.
But they kind of
and-
like him for it.
Yeah.
And yes, even people who've already said they hate priests, even people said he didn't condemn the fornicators. She says you're a bad priest.
Yeah, there's one lady in there who's like this Methodist church lady who's like really getting on him about how why
He's
aren't
not
you
mad
the one-
enough about the.
yeah, why aren't you over there telling them to cut that out? And he's sort of like, well, I don't know. It's not my business.
yeah, not me. Who am I to judge?
Yeah.
Kind of a guy. And so the next day, the reason he's in there, there's supposed to be a fine, but he didn't have any money.
Yeah.
So that's why he spent the night in jail, and his job was to clean out the gross pee buckets.
Yeah.
And they said, all right, I guess you're done.
But the really funny thing about this scene is the lieutenant is there.
Yes.
And once he gets out, the lieutenant gives him like $5 to go off and you know.
And he tells the lieutenant, "You're a good man." that's a great ending, right?
Yeah.
The two of them there.
Yeah.
He thinks you're a good man. So now we're back to the fellow's banana farm. I guess he's thinking the only time anybody's ever hid me out or treated me right, these fellows, was the banana farm people.
Yeah.
And he gets there, nobody's there.
Yeah.
They're all gone.
They're all going. There's some empty medicine bottles, and he assumes that the Mrs. Fellows is has had some sort of medical issue, and that's why they've left. And he gets there, and there's no food. There's a little bit of shelter. It starts to storm, and then there's some weird Indian lady
Right.
staring at him.
And the Indian lady has a wounded child.
So the Indian lady who doesn't speak Spanish has a baby with gunshot wounds. You're like, what is going on here?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Okay, yes.
And then the only things that she can say are, the only things that he understands are, she says, Americano
Yeah.
and Iglesia,
Yes.
church. And he's like, I don't know what's going on here. And he tries to patch up the kid, and the kid dies.
He's like out in the wilderness and runs into this lady with her baby, and
It's lightning and
yeah, all they're trying to do is find the church for some reason. It's really a
right. I
strange
think
scene.
she wants to get the baby, give the baby a church burial or
Right.
something.
Yeah.
Right.
And they get to this building, and he assumes that it's army barracks. I guess they come in the backside or whatever, and the guy's like, No, it's a church. And now he is in, and then the Indian lady leaves. More hospitable territory.
Right. So he leaves Tabasco and goes into a more hospitable state.
We don't know it's Tabasco, but it is Tabasco. Yeah, right. Yeah.
But Greene never says it.
Yeah, right.
And then boom, the next scene, he is with the Lurs or the Lairs.
Oh yeah, right.
So
and they're Lutherans.
They're German American Lutherans.
Yeah, and they don't believe in Catholic priests and all that, but they're very hospitable to him, and they help him out.
Yeah.
Very very nice to him. They give him food. They shelter him. They say, you're going to want to go say mass, so here you go.
I mean, here he's got clean clothes. He's got clean water. He's in that little pond. They got some brandy.
Right.
And, I mean, this guy's really
soap, right?
probably living his best life in 8 years.
Right, yeah.
And they're going to allow him to say mass.
Right.
And he's got, like 100 confessions to go through.
Oh, this is also the place where he's wrestling with, he wants to make some money from this was weird to me. Because he's like charging a certain amount of money
like 2
per
pesos
baptism,
per
baptism and per confession.
And they're like, how about 1 peso? About 50 centavos. I don't know what these numbers mean, but they bargain him down. But but in his mind, he's going to knock out this,
and then he's going to go to the big city where there are actually still churches.
Where it's going to be safe. It's going to be a congregation.
Right.
It's a religious place.
Yeah.
Apparently he felt it was his duty to stay in that terrible state of Tabasco. But now, after 8 years, I guess he's just like, all right, I'm out, and I'm going to Las Casas, and it's going to be sweet. And before he leaves, who shows up?
The lieutenant.
No, the mestizo.
Oh, right, that guy. Yeah.
The mestizo.
Yes.
And the mestizo says, before you leave, I have a dying man who needs to confess. He's like, son of a gun.
Yes. And the funny
And he
thing
knows
is,
mestizos of...
he knows he's lying,
crap.
but he's playing off his sense of duty.
Right.
If there's a guy who needs to confess, that's my job. I'm a priest. I have to go hear him.
Right. Oh, hold on. The mestizo was also in the jail.
Yeah.
But he didn't turn him in because I'm not going to get the reward
Yes.
unless I turn him in outside the jail.
That's right.
So here's this stupid mestizo, and he's like, and did he say that it was a gringo?
Yeah, he said it was a bank robber.
So he's like, he knows not only that there's that the dying man is. Oh, so that's why it's sort of the story seems legit, kind of legit, because there is a guy on the run. It does come around that it was the gringo bank robber who shot the baby.
Yeah. Yes. Now what? I got to go back to one thing.
Okay.
Why is the mestizo called half caste? What does that mean?
Right.
It shows up. I mean, that's how he's referred to throughout the book. Half caste. What does that mean?
I mean, I guess in the caste system, you'd have Indians here and Europeans there.
Okay, and he's half and half.
He's halfway there.
Okay.
He's above your Indian, but he's not a European or something like that.
Yeah, and he only has 2 teeth.
He doesn't only have 2 teeth.
Yes, 2 teeth.
Yellow.
So here it is. Now he's wondering, on this long trip, is he crossing back over the border into the dangerous state?
Yeah.
You know how do you know? Right?
But at this point, he knows he's being
He
set
just
up.
knows this guy's
He knows
a piece of
this
crap.
guy. Yeah, he knows the mestizo is trying to set him up, and he just goes along. He says, "Okay, that's the way it's going to be," because his duty.
Yeah.
That I need to, if there's a chance, if there's a guy who needs to confess, I need to go listen to him.
And he gets there, and son of a gun, there he is.
It's the other guy.
There's the gringo bank robber.
The bank robber.
So so he's like, dang on it, this is true. This is a true story.
Right.
Except the guy's not interested in confessing at all.
Right. And he gets arrested.
And then the lieutenant shows up.
Right. Yeah.
So it's how, I mean, it wasn't entirely deceptive, because it is true that there was the wounded gringo. He just wasn't really that crazy about it.
And then the mestizo goes to the lieutenant and says, "Hey, can I have a minute with the priest?" And goes to the priest and says, "Will you bless me before you go?"
Yes, he does. Yes.
So-
That
Because I won't see you again.
Yeah.
That
That's
actually
good.
is an illustration
That's good.
of what I thought was a very interesting subtext to the whole story, is that there's this underlying religiosity, this religious feeling
Yeah.
among the people that despite everything,
Even professed non-believers.
yes, despite everything they tried to do to get rid of it, it was still there.
Mhm.
Even despite the fact that they're going to get
Definitely.
killed for it, there's this underlying sense of a religious sentiment
Right.
that they believed in the sacraments, they believed in confession, they believed in blessings, and that kind of underlay the whole story.
Yes, I think it was, and it was
Right.
so pervasive that even non-believers wouldn't turn him in.
Yes.
And back when he was in jail, there was Miguel, the hostage,
Yeah.
all beat up,
Right.
and he saw him,
Yeah.
and Miguel saw him. He could have gotten out of the whole, hostage situation
Yeah.
by saying, "All right, there he is, right there."
But he didn't.
No, he didn't.
Yeah. So there's this strange, and that sort of explains to some extent the reaction against. So the Mexican government at this time in history, the Mexican government was trying to secularize and get rid of the priests,
Right.
and there was the Cristero revolt, and you can kind of get the sense of why in
Yeah.
here. That there was still this underlying religious sentiment that the people weren't willing to get rid of.
No,
Yeah.
they could not beat it out of them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, once we get to the finishing up the plot summary, we could talk about why. and that
Yeah,
kind of
that's
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. So then there's it starts raining outside, and there's just a little chit chat between the whiskey priest and the lieutenant.
Yeah.
And they kind of like each other.
You know what? The lieutenant. Oh, I'll get this later. So I don't know. Yeah, they do. They actually get along pretty good. But they each have their duty.
Mm-hmm.
So the lieutenant knows what he's got to do. They ride to the Capitol. He says, "How about this? Let me confess to Padre Jose."
Mm-hmm.
And the lieutenant's like, "All right." And so they go to Padre Jose.
And he won't do it.
He thinks it's a setup.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if he did it, he'd be breaking the law.
Right. And
Yeah.
the funny thing
Even
is,
though-
the
even though-
lieutenant,
even
the
though
lieutenant's willing to break
The
the
lieutenant
law.
is the law.
Yeah,
He
right.
said you can do it, but he
Yeah.
just didn't trust it. So he gives the priest some brandy, and he spends the night alone. He told him, this is your last night. I can put you in general population. And he says, "No, I'll stay here by myself." And he sits there and kind of gets hammered, and
he's very afraid of dying.
regrets his life. Yeah, and is not, is mad about not having the courage to face his death without fear. And then, so then again it cuts to to a chapter where it's a bunch of vignettes,
Right.
and one of them is Mr. and Mrs. Fellows, and it turns out it's the daughter that died. Right, when we thought that maybe it was speculated that Mrs. Fellows was the one that was sick. So, it's the daughter that dies. Then they hear that. Oh, right. They hear that a man has been shot. Is about to be shot. And they're like, I wonder if it was the guy who was, that we kept in that Coral kept in the storage room overnight. No, probably not. Then it cuts to the police chief with a toothache, and then out in the courtyard is the execution.
Mm-hmm.
And he was kind of worried about the moments of pain. He's like,
He's
Does it
really
hurt?
a wimp. And I mean, in some ways, he's an incredible wimp. And in other ways, he's relatively brave.
Right.
Yeah.
And the dentist, Tinge, is out there. He's like totally preoccupied with what's happening out there in the court because he knows the guy that's going to get a shot.
yeah.
Mm.
Does he recognize the priest as the guy who he had previously
I think so.
had a drink with?
I think
It's
so.
like, oh, that's my God. And then I think the last scene is you're back to the pious woman reading about the martyr to her.
So
her
who's the
kids.
martyr?
It's just a religious story about a kid named Juan.
Yeah.
But he is a cartoon version of the whiskey priest,
Yeah.
right? Who is virtuous and brave and basically all the things that the whiskey priest is. Even though his life sort of follows the same story,
Yeah.
it follows it in a cartoony way, while the whiskey priest is a very human and flawed
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the strength of the novel.
Yes.
Is it's saying that even in the midst of human weakness and human suffering, that these guys aren't saints. They're not perfect, but there's still this kind of, there's something going on here.
They're
Right?
still admirable.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like you have religion being portrayed in several different ways. One of them is like that ritual thing, doing the confession, doing the communion, the importance of that to the common folk.
Yeah.
Without that, the common folk think they're not going to heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there is the lieutenant, which has sort of, he's the ideology, the thought, of what religion is, and he's like, oh, it's just nothing but a bunch of hoopla, and it's just destroying.
Yeah, it's just right. You're money that could be going to feed people's mouths. You're using for a bunch of. It was actually the Lutheran woman said the same thing.
Yeah.
They spent a lot of money on silly decorations.
Right, and the whiskey priest doesn't argue with her. So yeah, you're
There's a little bit of that going on.
he's like, well, it's not all gold leaf. Sometimes it's just gold paint.
Now, yeah, right. That was a good one. So the boy who poo-pooed the story in the beginning, right? Luis, while he's listening to the story, he's like, this is lame. And he admires the lieutenant, and the lieutenant lets him hold his gun. And so he's sort of looking at the lieutenant as the good guy. In the final scene, he spits out the window, and the spittle lands on the gun. Someone knocks at the door, and the boy's like, oh boy, the lieutenant caught me spitting. He opens the door. The guy asks to see his mother, and he says, who are you? And he says, I'm a priest. Right? That's basically how
a new priest shows up.
Right. Which sort of, I mean, back to the religiosity of the novel, it is the enduring nature, right? It's like, okay, so you did take out, you took out that priest you've been hunting for all the while, and guess what? We got a new priest.
Right. And the whiskey priest, though, is the most Jesus-like of them all. Right, Mestizo is like Judas, but he's also, they kind of represent religion in action. Your actions tell you what you believe. You believe what you do.
Yeah,
kind of thing. And I just love the way the different layers that he puts on there and explores them all.
Yeah,
in
and the fact that he's not judging the fornicating couple. Is a.
But there's all, yeah, that's true. And there's also, despite the fact that underlying this whole story, there's kind of a positive attitude towards religion. He doesn't mince words in attacking religion. So,
yeah.
Like the lieutenant says, they didn't say this. It's describing his lieutenant. It infuriated him to think that there were still people in the state who believed in a loving and merciful God. Mm-hmm. There are mystics who are said to have experienced God directly. He was a mystic too, and what he had experienced was vacancy, a complete certainty in the existence of a dying, cooling world of human beings who had evolved from animals for no purpose at all. He knew. So there's at the same time this very harsh, strong secular impulse, and this you can't get rid of this religious impulse going on at the same time.
Exactly, in the way that our hero is terribly flawed and cowardly and fornicating and drinking, our villain and protagonist, he's not such a bad guy, really.
No, yeah, right.
You know what I mean? I mean, he's fairly compassionate. He's just like, I got a job to do, and I see the world the way that I see the world, which is the right way to see the world. And I'm here to make this place a better place. I mean, the villains of history don't see themselves as villains, and
Right.
you know, he was a good man, right? The priest called him a good man.
Yeah. Yeah. And the lieutenant gave him some money when he was down on his
Yes.
luck. Said, here's $5. Go, you know.
You know, and they had a nice little conversation, and all right, we got to go back. You know, I got to do what I got to do.
Right.
And I got my sense of duty.
Yeah.
And
So it's a very interesting contrast between all the different forces going on.
so he's, like I said, why, you know how they have like the In a Galaxy Far, Far Away, the prologue before, you know, to let you know what's going on. I could see in a movie you having a paragraph on the screen that says, after the revolution in Mexico, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Cristero Wars came, and now on with our story, right? Well, Greene doesn't do any of that.
Right.
So, what would the book have benefited in any way, or what would be the purpose of not giving it a historical setting that you understand really what's going on?
I mean, was it because the characters, he wanted to make the characters and their actions universal?
I think so. Yes, this is not a. He doesn't. It has an historical setting, but it's not an historical novel. It's not like this is something that just took place in this one place with these people, right? That these people, and maybe that's why neither the whiskey priest, nor the lieutenant, nor the mestizo get names,
That's right, they don't, do they?
Yeah.
right? I mean, what would be the purpose of that, except for to, like you say, make them a little bit more universal and representative than specific characters.
But he does such a great job
I know.
of characterizing
Yes,
them
but
and
they all
making
have
them
very
so personal, you know?
yeah, 100%.
Without giving them names.
And maybe that's the same reason that he doesn't name the state of Tabasco or call out the president of the country or the governor or whatever, is to say this is not a specific. This struggle is not unique to this time and place. This struggle between, you know, religion and state and conscience and, you know, is bigger than that.
Is all time.
Yeah. Yes, I think that's a very good insight. I would also say though that what he's trying to do is he's not trying to present the larger context. He's trying to present the struggle of these individual characters in this thing. So, like, if you got distracted by the politics of it that would take away from the story,
Right.
because it's really about these people, these specific people, and how they're dealing with this
Right.
this environment.
And it would have made the novel a whole hell of a lot longer.
I know.
If you had to
I think it's
explain
a
it.
If
tight.
he had to
it's-
do the political context.
So as far as yes, it's a tight 220. It's a combination. It's cerebral. You know, it's about big ideas, but it doesn't get so caught up in that you don't have pace.
Yes.
Like you wonder what's going next. There's no. It's not verbose. It's not. The language is kind of sparse. Things move along, and like I said before, characters you meet in the beginning, you think they're gone. They'll circle back later in some other manner. I just think the construction of it is.
Oh yeah, and I
is
think you're
tight.
right. The pace was great. It just strung along sort of the heady pieces that he was struggling with, the actions that he was struggling with, the characters. But it's you know, it's not an action pack, but there is
I know,
kind
right?
of like action in there.
It does
Well,
keep
I
moving.
mean, he's always hiding and moving along and
Right.
trying to evade capture. So
Right.
it's sort of action, but it's not like, you know, horse chases or car chases. or
Yes,
anything
but
like
you're
that.
always
Yeah.
wondering: is he about to get caught? What's going to happen next?
Yeah.
What about when you talk about like the duality? What about alcohol? Is both necessary for the sacrament and his weakness and downfall.
Yeah.
Right? There's always this play between him getting alcohol for proper reasons and for his own personal vice.
Yeah. That's actually pretty interesting. And it kind of plays off his sense of duty versus his. So you imagine duty is getting the wine, but his underlying
proclivities.
Yeah.
is getting the brandy, right? You know, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I just think it was.
Yeah,
There's a lot of the books we've read are famous books that I can say now I've read. I would put this at the top of the enjoyment of reading it. And he wrote. So apparently this was one of his 4 what's called Catholic novels.
Mm-hmm.
He also wrote a series of. This was also part of a series of sort of exotic location novels.
Mm.
You know, he wrote one where set in Vietnam, pre-Vietnam War, Havana, and the Congo. But he also has lots of his books. A combination of his books and his screenplays. He's got like 25 movie credits.
Right.
Now, his dialogue writing is very good. I could see him being a screenplay writer.
Right. The Orient Express was based on one of his novels.
Interesting.
So
Our Man in Havana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he said he had 2 types of novels he would write: the entertainment and then the more of the literature.
Okay.
And so he knew how to do the pace. He knew how to get move you forward. He knew how to keep the reader guessing. Well, wanting to know what's next.
Mm-hmm. Wanting to know, yeah.
And,
Now I saw because sometimes I like to watch a movie of books that we've read, but after we do the review, I don't want to be influenced by that. So there's Laurence Olivier, 1961, plays the whiskey priest, and George C. Scott is the lieutenant.
Wow.
I know. I think I'm going to be checking that one out.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, there we got it.
All right. Hold on. I got one last quote.
Okay.
I may never forget this. It's one line in the beginning when they're in that oppressive first scene. He says, "Heat stood in the room like an enemy." Sometimes it's just so hot. You feel like the heat is actually against you.
Yeah.
I like that.
Oh, I mean, there were great lines all throughout the book like that. Yeah.
That's great. All right.
Cheers.
The power and the glory.
Cheers. Thanks so much for listening. Be sure to like this video and share it with your friends.
Blue suit in the sunshine.